So here I am, Monday morning. I made it down south yesterday, taking my life in my hands on our lovely motorways. Always get a few narrow misses on the way down. And now that I record all my journeys, I can show you some of that. Joyous. So this morning, gorgeous weather, absolutely splendid. Windy, but sunny and a beautiful, perfect blue sky. So I am heading off this morning to fill up my car with petrol so that I don't have to worry about it later in the week, because I won't need to go out in the car again after today. And I'm also going to pick up my mum's birthday cake for Wednesday morning, or for Wednesday as it is. So yeah, I'm going to sort that out. Mum has gone out this morning, so that means I can sneak the cake in without her seeing, which is rather handy. Pleased about that. I was watching a couple of videos this morning. Well, I watched a video from someone who is an older YouTuber like me. She's a little bit older than me, I think. And she was talking about how she has had comments in the past about people saying that videos are can be a bit repetitive. I don't know if she was talking about her or about somebody else who had commented on their own channel, because there were two channels I was following, and they were talking about how, you know, videos can get a bit samey, and I have had similar comments as well, saying, oh, you always record from the same place in your flat. Well, where do you want me to go? Eiffel Tower? London Bridge? Where would you like me to go? It is what it is, you know. And I think people forget that when you do like a day in the life, week in the life channel. Very often people's lives are normal. Things just happen. You don't, you know, unless you want us to fake the videos, it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. I'm not going to apologise for having a normal, ordinary, day-to-day life like most people do. And there are plenty of channels that you can go and follow, and you'll see a whole different set of things. So when I search for IRL channels or day in the life or whatever it is, I often end up with these. You get these channels, day in the life, working from home as a, I don't know, running my own business from home, and I look at it and I can't relate to it. And when I'm looking for day in the life, week in the life channels, things like that, I'm looking for channels that I can relate to. I'm not looking for escapism. I'm not looking to get away from what it means. I want to find something that I can relate to, something that's similar to me. And very often those sorts of channels, if I find the right ones, will also give me ideas for what I can talk about, because there are lots of things I do in my day to life and I don't even think about recording them, because I think, well, A, who's going to be interested in this? And then you realise that people can be interested in the most ordinary things that you might think are quite mundane. This channel, this lady mentioned that she decided she was having a bit of a clear out, and I think she was clearing out the shoe closet or something, and she decided to record it, and it got a real spike in views. And I think, who wants to watch someone clear out their shoe closet? But people do. People really do. So you do often forget that some of the most ordinary things are the things that people want to see. And there are lots of people living their lives through YouTube because maybe they have you know, it's too restricted for them going out. Maybe they are disabled, or for other reasons they don't go out very often. And looking at channels like ours, like these Week in the Life channels, are a really nice little connection point for people who might be really isolated. What if they don't have any family? What if their friends never call them? You know, what if they can't get out and do the things that the rest of us do? And it's a really nice reminder that you're providing a connection. So when someone says, oh, your videos are really boring, or you always do the same thing, some people need that in their lives to help them stay balanced, to help them connect with the outside world. So there are lots of things that I don't record, you know. Recently I did that video of me cutting and dyeing my hair, which I have done it before in the past, but I think only once. But people commented on it, people like it, they like to see these normal things happening, because it's a nice normal reality. It's getting away from anything that's political, anything that's that might trigger concern in people. You know, you don't want to know what's going on in the outside world, but here is something going on in someone else's life and it's not going to cause you any anxiety, things like that. So I can really appreciate that. And there are channels that I follow, and they do like day in the life of they're out car camping or whatever else it is they're doing, and you just put the video on in the background and I get on with my crafting. So I use a lot of them like podcasts, where I will listen to it and I'll have it in vision if I want to look at it, but very often I am just listening to the longer video. So I can have YouTube on all day like you would a radio or a TV in the background, and I'm doing other things at the same time, so I get through a lot of YouTube videos, but I'm not sitting there physically watching every minute because I have other stuff I have to do. But of course also my my channel, or my life so to speak, is divided across 3 YouTube channels. So I've separated out the business because I think that's more beneficial for my business, and I've really seen an uptick on my website thanks to doing that channel. And as I go, I'm modulating what I do and working out new ways to do videos and what things people will be interested in, and that's been really helpful. And I separated out all my walking videos onto a separate channel as well, because they can be very long, and if I do the car camping, that might be 3 videos, 3-hour-long videos. So I thought it was better to put that onto another channel. I'm not interested particularly in monetizing either of those channels, and at the rate they're growing, they are never going to be monetized at all, and that's fine. I'm not bothered about that. The monetized channel is this one, but I've also had this channel a lot longer. The other 2 channels, I think I've only been running this year. My business channel, I think I might have started last year. Time flies, I can't even remember, but I think I'm now in my 3rd year for this channel. So this is obviously much more established and wide-ranging and covers a lot of other things, so that's why it has more people. But it's been a very slow ride. I hit a point of about 3,500 subscribers, and it's never really gone above that. I'm really close to 4,000, and it's really weird how you look at the subscription numbers, and it goes up a bit, then it goes down a bit, then it goes up a bit and goes down a bit. And I know that some people are being manually unsubscribed by YouTube. That is still a glitch that still seems to be going on. So the numbers go up and down and up and down and up and down. And I had a congratulations from YouTube the other day saying that I'd reached 4,000 subscribers, but when I look at the numbers, it says I'm on 3,998. So I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to get over that 4,000 subscribers number. I don't know. It is what it is. But that's fine. I am making a small income from it, and every little bit helps. I have multiple income streams, and the monthly audits that I've been much more disciplined with doing this year. I've tried doing them before and not been very good at it, but this year I've been much better at it, and people really like to see your end of month money roundups, because again, it's one of those things that people who aren't sure if they're doing things right, who are looking for tips on how can I just tweak that to just save a little bit more money because things are tight, and people get all sorts of ideas. So that's also been a very useful new thing. I'm not very good at being very disciplined with doing regular videos. I don't have a recording schedule for the week in the life. I just point and shoot at whatever I think might round up the week, you know, might make that week seem a bit interesting. And then I just look at all the footage and I chop out the bits that I think are good and the bits that aren't, and I turn it into, I try to keep the videos under 45 minutes. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes they're a lot shorter. If I have a week where I'm really not doing very much, a lot of my week is very ordinary, you know. I go and do the cleaning jobs, I do my at-home crafting work, I cook food. Sometimes I actually do a recipe that I'll record, not very often. A lot of my cooking is very samey. I also do yellow sticker roundups when I go to the supermarket. Been doing less lately. I'm trying to save money, basically, what can I say? And yeah, so I try and mix it up and keep things interesting, but a lot of what I record is done from home because that's where I spend most of my time. I'm either here in the car like I am now, or I'm at home, and particularly where the weather hasn't been great recently, I haven't done a lot of walking out because it's just been horrible. So particularly now at this time of year, now it's getting colder and darker and more miserable, there's going to be less going out. What can I do? You don't want to see me recording in a gale force wind, do you? So yeah, just trying to, always looking for new ideas for things that I can do which are low effort, to be honest with you. There are days where the thought of just putting on the camera, recording it and then having to edit it is like, oh really? So I probably am a bit lazy and miss out on some things that I should record, but a lot of what I'm doing is just rambling stuff. There are subjects that I can't talk about because people don't want to hear about it. So I've learned how not to talk about certain things as people get upset about it, so don't bother with that. And then there's lots of stuff which is personal life, which is no one's business but mine. I never record other people that I know, so friends and family are off limits. I try my best to keep my locations secure. I know that some people have worked out where I live because they know the area. They're not there now, but they were, and they recognise places, so it's going to happen. But I try my best, because there's always one nutter who decides they need to find out where you live, you know. I've heard some very strange stories about other YouTubers who've been hunted down by YouTube fans. People turn up on their doorstep and things, and it's so bizarre. And of course, when I'm out and about, like down at family, I'm not going to give away any of that, because that, you know, my parents didn't ask to be on YouTube. They didn't ask for their, you know, their locations to be shown. My family are not really, my parents definitely don't do social media, and they're not very, nobody I know is a very active user of YouTube, and I've never told anybody I know in real life that I have YouTube channels. I'd never do that. Should never ever do that. It just complicates things and it makes things a bit weird. I like knowing that when you are watching me here on this channel, you don't know me. All you know about me is through this screen. That you're not gonna drop me a text and say, oh, I saw your last video, or, you know, they're not going to, you know, go out coffee with a friend and say, oh, I saw your last video, because it's just weird and awkward, and I don't want to get into any of that. So I'm very happy to keep my channels as anonymous as I can. Yeah, so it's been interesting watching these other YouTubers who are in their 50s and 60s, so they're a little bit older than me, but we're all coming at it from the same angle, which is living on tight budgets, money audits, yellow sticker shopping, how to make money go further, all that sort of thing, and just general day in the life chit chat where we just put the phone on in front of our faces and talk at it. And people like that, and I'm happy to keep doing that. This is how I get things out of my system, share my limited knowledge on things, and sometimes I do things in slightly weird ways that other people wouldn't have thought about. I'm really obsessed about my budgeting and my spreadsheets. I love doing all that. So I think I've encouraged a few people to start budgeting in a different way, maybe tracking their money a bit more, finding different ways to do things. I have an idea for something else I want to talk about on my next money audit, which will be the September one, which will come out before this. So if you see the video before this, probably that will be the audit. I'll link it up there so that you don't miss it. And I want to talk about zero interest credit cards and how I pre-plan for how long I'm going to use the cards and things like that, because it's just how I work. This is just how I do it. So anyway, I am arriving now at Sainsbury, going to get petrol first, and then I'm going to pick up the cake, and I shall catch you on whatever next stage of my week I pick up my camera. So I've grabbed 20 minutes. My parents have gone out, taking my eldest niece to her flexi school where she gets her extra help for the dyslexia, which has been a really a miracle. But I want to talk about something that happened yesterday. It's really depressing, actually. So if you read your local news, if you're in the UK, you might have noticed, I mean, I've certainly noticed it, that there's a lot more news to do with building projects and planning applications that are going through. And I know that one of Labour's obsessions is more housing, as if building more housing is going to solve the housing crisis, which it is not. Because A, it's unaffordable, and B, because once those houses are filled, they'll just need more houses. And my feeling is that they won't be happy until they've concreted over the whole country. And then people will ask, well, what went wrong? And so what happened yesterday was that something popped up on one of my social media feeds about all the housing applications, the planning applications that are going through here in the village and in the surrounding villages in this area. And it's absolutely devastating. So the areas where, when I come down, if I get the chance, I go walking. And I will show you those walks down those country lanes and up on the edge of the hill, and show you the valley that I've shown you before. And I'll try and grab you some pictures to show that, or I might even go on a walk while I'm down if I've got time and show you. And most of it, it's a mixture of ancient woodland and agricultural lands. There's a lot of fields. And I've already told you about how the other side of the valley, which is currently grazing land for cattle and sheep, is being given over to an enormous solar farm, which we think is still going ahead, although they've had some knockbacks on their planning applications. But now, so that's one thing. On the other side of the valley, there's a farmer there who has sold a lot of his farming land to housing. And huge, great chunks of that area where I walk is going to be a housing estate. And they're putting this housing in a place where it has no facilities. So there are no proper shops here at all. There's nothing here. There's one doctor's surgery which is almost never open. It's really impossible to get an appointment. They shut all the other local ones, so we are the only one, and they're oversubscribed. There's one dentist, which is the dentist I go to, and that's a private dentist, and I think they're probably pretty full as well. There is a primary school in the village, and that's it. I think there's one nursery school, and anything else you want, you have to go outside anyway. So there's no facilities. The roads aren't particularly good. A lot of the roads around here are lanes. They are not big roads, and the roads can be in pretty dire disrepair, and there's no like water facility or anything like that, so that would all have to be put in. And if these projects go ahead, and that won't be the end of it, that'll just be one bit. As soon as that's built and those people are in, they'll be demanding more, and they're building on farming land, so that means there's even less food being produced. And I see this in the news up where I am as well, where they are building on greenbelt land, not just brownfield land or sites that have already been built on before. They're cutting into greenbelt, and they're just going to keep nibbling away at it until there's nothing left. And it's really depressing. And when you look at those particular projects, if that's what it's going to be like over the next 5 years, which I think is their planning time, how's that going to look in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years? And I'm beginning to feel like, do I actually want to come back here at all? Because if nothing else, this place is going to be completely gridlocked. It's just going to become a suburb of London, because it'll all get joined up, neaten up. And a lot of Kent areas where I used to go when I was a kid, you go shopping places and things like that, are now boroughs of London, where they used to be boroughs of Kent. And over in Haringey, they are building a big Amazon data centre on greenbelt land. That's been allowed to go through. Those things eat up huge amounts of energy, huge amounts of water, and it's energy users, not the companies, it's us that pay for that. That goes onto our bills. That's another reason why your bills keep going up, is because we're subsidising it. We are destined for just massive failure, because on the one hand, you've got people, everyone wants a house apparently, and you have to build them regardless of the damage that does to the environment. On the other hand, you've got the environmental people saying, you've got to slow down because we're just destroying everything. And at the moment, as we know, money trumps everything. So the money is where it's going to be. Labour probably thinks that it's going to win over voters by creating huge amounts of housing, and with ever increasing populations. A lot of that population not being Indigenous people, you've got a lot of people coming in from outside, so you've got all the migrant situation and everything. Everyone needs to be housed. And that's why they have whatever this enormous housing target is, that they need to build on absolutely everything. And unfortunately, I'm going to see that in my lifetime. I'm going to see the damage that does and the degradation of the environment. And I feel really sad about it. It's really depressing that we are going to end up living in concrete jungles, and the only garden, the only green space that you may have left one day, if you're lucky, is a garden. But will anything visit the garden? Because once they've built on all the woods and all the fields and all the hedgerows, there won't be any nature to come to your garden anyway, because it will move on and it will die out. And the areas of environmental, greenery and things like wetlands and the moors and things will be all that's left, and you won't be able to step out your door and go for a walk in the woods or whatever, because they're just going to build all over it. And they'll change the rules. They'll make sure that they get their planning in. So we've got loads of pockets of what's left of the ancient woodland that used to be here before this village was built, because this is a new village. So they decimated this area anyway in the 60s when they built this village from scratch anyway. There was almost nothing here. So, you know, any green land is now a target. And they're nibbling away at the edges of the greenery that's left, and pretty soon that'll be gone. So I'm feeling pretty depressed about that at the moment. Today's Tuesday. I've only been here one full day. It's sad. But I don't know where you go to escape it, because it's happening everywhere. It's going to get very hard to find places to go where you can be near nature and get to enjoy that. So I'm sad about that. So Tuesday's a bit of a downer. I do have some like good news YouTube channels on good things that are happening with the environment, and I've also noticed on the news, like my news feeds, coming up with lots of unusual migrant birds, not migrant people, arriving in the country that wouldn't normally be here. And I think that's another effect of climate change, that, you know, different birds that wouldn't normally come here in winter are now coming here because of the temperature changes around the world, and their migration patterns are changing. You know, you now get swallows some swallows are now overwintering here because it's getting so warm in the winter that they can survive it. That's something you would never have heard of 30 years ago. You'd never have seen swallows in winter when I was a kid. So it is changing, and you get these people who think it's a conspiracy and that climate change isn't happening. I mean, you can see it. You can see it all around you. Every time I come down here, I can see the subtle changes and the way things are different, and the bird species that have disappeared from the garden and we don't see anymore. We used to have loads of sparrows, house sparrows and tree sparrows, loads of green finches. We don't see any of those anymore. They're gone, completely gone. I mean, a house sparrow used to be the most common bird you could possibly see anywhere, and they do not exist here now. It's so strange. It's like, you see a house sparrow, it's like, oh my God, it's a sparrow. And that used to be the most common bird that you would see, and you wouldn't think anything of it. And that's largely because people have blocked up all the eaves on their houses, so there's nowhere for them to nest. That's why they're called a house sparrow. When I am back home, we have a lot of old houses, like Victorian, Edwardian houses, and you can hear the sparrows everywhere because they have places to go. But the modern houses are built without that in mind, and nobody cares about house sparrows around here. You know, it's about... we've got loads of the gardens here have been astroturfed, and I've had all the plants ripped out, and they're just flat grass. There's nothing. It's sterile land, and it's so sad. Like when you look at my parents' garden, and they're trying to do their bit, and it's like a little pocket, a little oasis pocket. So you can see that. They're trying to do their little bit, and they've got loads and loads of feeders in the garden, trying to help the birds when they come in, and they've got bushes in the garden which are laden with berries, and you see the birds coming in and eating all the berries and things. And they've got a little wildlife pond, and you try and do your bit, but you're a tiny pocket, and you can't help everything. So that's really sad. So today is not a particularly fun day. Weighs on my mind. Anyway, today, one of my jobs to do with my dad is we're going to clean out the nest boxes. We have 2 nest boxes here, one in the front, one in the back, and we're going to clean them out so that they're ready for next year, and trim up the ivy around them, because one of them you can't even see the box because the ivy's grown around it. So we are going to trim it all up for the season, get everything tidy, and then we've got lovely weather this week, so we're making the most of it. So that's Tuesday. It's all a bit sad. Makes me feel hopeless, really, because there's nothing I can do to change it. You can see the slow collapse of nature here, and there's nothing you can do about it because the powers that be, they want the money. It's all about the money. So yesterday was Wednesday, and it was my mum's 80th birthday, and we went out for the day. We went to a place called Ightham Moat in Kent and had a lovely day out. That's noisy. And then we came back, and my brother, his wife and their kids came round, and we did the cake. The cake went down really well. Sainsbury's cake was really nice. Everyone really liked it. So I think that went down really well. And that was it, really. We did presents and things in the morning. And Mum liked her bee bowls, which are now installed in the garden. So that went really well. And that's it, really. Today I've just been faffing around, really. Just been doing some admin-y stuff, and don't know where the day's gone. No idea. Really tired. When I come down here, I get really tired because it's so quiet and so relaxing here that I just go into reverse. Anyway, so tomorrow is Friday, and I'm going to be spending the day, or part of the day anyway, with my old school friend who I always try and see when I come down. So we're going to do that. And then Saturday we are out at the restaurant for Mum's official birthday lunch. And then Sunday I have to come home. So the week's gone really, really fast. But yeah, it's weird because I'd never usually come down for a week, so it feels like it's gone really fast, and I haven't really got anything done while I've been here because most of my days have been spent doing things for and with other people. So my routine's kind of out of thing. But I'm going home on Sunday morning, so back to routine then. And yeah, it's pretty good. Hopefully I'll get another little bit of video in here before I go back. It's difficult because most of the time I'm here and everyone's here, so I don't record video really when other people are about. But yeah, it's been a really nice one. The weather has, well, today it's absolutely blooming glorious. I mean, you can see that out there. Can't really see, but it's blue sky and sun out there at the moment. It doesn't look like crazy hot, but the sun was really warm, and it's been really pleasant actually. There's been no rain since I've been down. Makes a nice change. So I'm now going to go and get Thursday's dinner prepped for everybody. And not much to report. It's been an odd week. So I am back, surprise, surprise. It is now Monday afternoon, so I arrived back home yesterday, had another really good journey, got home in 4.5 hours. I'm guessing because now it's autumn, all the roadworks are coming to an end, and so you know, the roads are a bit faster again. Anyway, so yeah, so I came out yesterday, got myself all sorted, and this morning I was doing some admin type stuff. I have done my Monday morning clean, and I had to pop to Sainsbury's on the way to get some shopping for them. And now I am heading home for a bit of late lunch. Sort out some more admin, and then this evening I'm going to go to Morrison's because I don't really have anything in eating wise, and I'm going to go and clean for the small business this evening because they missed out on their weekend one while I was away. So if I do it on Monday, it means I haven't actually lost any income. I've just done the clean on like a day later than I normally would, because I'd come in at the weekend and do it. So they've only missed out on the weekend just gone. So it means I don't miss out any income, which is good. So I'll do that this evening. Tomorrow in the evening I'll go and clean for the other business because they've also missed out on the week, but I don't want to do two in one evening. I'll be getting out of there at like 10 o'clock at night and I don't want to be doing that. So that'll be tomorrow evening. I have a bunch of stuff to do. I'm going to show you a bit of, I don't know if it's going to fit on this video, I'll need to see because it's getting quite long already. And my school friend that I went to visit on Friday while I was down at my parents' had a big bag for life of clothes for me to get rid of. I don't know where she keeps producing all these clothes from. Some of them have never been worn. Some really nice stuff in there. There's actually a couple of bits in there that I might keep. Size wise she's a bit bigger than me. But some of the tops, like a loose fit t-shirt or something, is fine just for, you know, hikes and bumming around the house and all that sort of thing. Just seen a hedgehog on the road. About that. Wait a minute. I just rescued a hedgehog. It was trying to cross the road and there was no way it was going to make it across alive. So I went out and I took off my hoodie, wrapped it around him, and boy are they spiky, and I carried him over the road what he was trying to get to, which is a school. They've got a big green and thick hedgerows at the side, so I've put him, or her, right on the edge of the brambles, and you could see there were little runs through the brambles, so they might be hedgehog runs. They looked hedgehog sized. So I rescued a hedgehog today from probable certain death or injury, and I feel really good about that. It's made my day. I don't think I've ever rescued a hedgehog before. We used to have hedgehogs in the garden when I was a kid, and we used to feed them, you know, people used to feed them milk and raw egg. Wrong things to feed them now, but back then, you know, we didn't know. We thought we were helping them. And so that's the only real experience I have with hedgehogs. I've only ever seen one hedgehog in the 8 years I've been up here, and that was flat on a road opposite where I live, which was really sad to see. We don't have much habitat left for hedgehogs now. They, you know, everyone's concreted their front gardens, everyone's astroturfed and decked their back gardens. We kill all the slugs and the snails and the things that they eat, and there's nothing for them. And of course, trying to get from one garden to another is taking your little spiky life in your hands, because the roads are dangerous and so many critters get killed on the roads because we create this concrete boundary between all the places they need to get to, and inevitably loads of them get killed. So today I saved a hedgehog. Not a particularly large hedgehog, although I don't know if it's big enough to be one of this year's babies. It looks healthy enough, but I don't know what it was doing out in the day like that. They're not supposed to be, so I don't know what it was up to. It didn't look sick, it was moving. It was very cheesed off when I picked it up and rolled into a little ball. Lovely to see them up close though, seeing all the spines and the colours and the way they look. Absolutely fabulous. So hopefully that one will survive another day. Hope it's okay. So that was fun. Anyway, I've got no idea what I was talking about now. Yeah, so I'm going to probably have a quick little shifty through all the things I got on Vinted. Yeah, I'm going to probably keep a few things that looked like they would be practical for me, but most of it will go. You know, it's really nice stuff. I've got to put it all through the laundry though, just so that it's ready to sell online. So when I do that show, if you're interested in any of those things, if you look in the... Come on, you idiot, what are you doing? If you look in the notes below my video, you will see a link to my vintage shop, and you can get stuff there. If you don't use Vinted, or you don't want to use Vinted, drop me a line with the items that you're interested in, and if it hasn't sold on Vinted by the time this video comes out, you can buy stuff from me direct if you like. I meant to add that before I went away, you may have seen my green tomato soup recipe, and I had 2 pounds of green tomatoes still left after I'd made that, and I was going to take them down to my friend. She doesn't need them. She's had so many green tomatoes this year, it's ridiculous. So I kept them, and I laid them out in front of one of my windows, and just left them there. Didn't think anything of it. I've come back and look how many of them have already turned red just in that week since I've been away. Really good. So so I know I have some tomatoes that I can eat now, and then depending on the others, if they don't turn red, then I'll just do another green recipe. Anyway, so I wanted to show you the Vinted things that I've got in case it interests anybody. My friend is the clothes are usually a 16-18. I don't think there's anything that's a 20. I think it's 16-18. So if you're interested and you see them on Vinted, because you can go and look, I think, even if you don't buy stuff, I'm not sure. You can see labels and stuff, because once all this stuff is online, then you'll be able to see all the details, because I put all the details on there. So a lot of it is really standard supermarket brands and stuff like that. We've got these bootcut jeans. Don't look like they've ever been worn. Some of this stuff has not been worn. So there's these. Don't even know what size these are. Can't find the label. Oh, there we go. Here's the label. So yeah, these are a 16. These are a bootleg full length. Right, so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. want to add that my friend is in the habit of buying clothes without trying them on, which is why a lot of this stuff has ended up going to me. There are some things that she's bought where the first time she's tried it on, she's been like, it doesn't look good on me. And people just don't take stuff back. I find this a lot. And that's the lot. So I am going to get stuck into some laundry, divide all these up into colours, like dark and white, that sort of thing, and shove that through at a quick wash, just so it's all fresh, and then I need to get listing. That's going to take me some time. I also meant to add, this is the end of this video. Thank you for watching, as always. It's greatly appreciated. And yeah, check out the links below if you're interested in my other sites, like my business side or my walking channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.